Hello everyone. No matter how hard humans try to control nature, nature always retaliates like a mischievous child. Sometimes storms and floods, sometimes landslides, sparing no one. When nature is angry, its power is as unpredictable as the lottery results. Let's watch the unbelievable moments in today's video with Wow Flash Fool. Like and subscribe to not miss the most amazing moments. Support the channel so we can continue to bring you realistic, emotional, and captivating footage. Welcome to one of the most memorable moments in Chula Vista, when an old icon officially disappeared. In February 2013, more than 1,000 locals gathered to witness the demolition of the South Bay Power Plant. Some showed up as early as 4 a.m. just to get the best seats. The 165-foot-tall South Bay Power Plant had been a staple of Chula Vista since it was built in the 1960s. It provided enough electricity to power 500,000 homes across Southern California. However, by 2010, the plant was decommissioned when cleaner, more modern facilities could replace its power source. Opinions were divided. Some said it was an old structure that detracted from the beauty of the marina. Others saw it as a legacy and were sad to see it go. Love it or hate it, everyone agrees that the South Bay plant couldn't have had a more memorable farewell. And then, with a bang, the old Chula Vista icon officially closed a chapter in its history. Pakistan floods, 2010. Historic floods left 20% of the country underwater, affecting 20 million people. When nature speaks, humans can only stand still, staring at the terrifying power beyond imagination. Join me on a journey to discover the most fierce moments, where the earth rages, the sea roars, and the scenes that shock the world. Allen Screen, the giant domino version. It's a beautiful day, everything is normal, until, boom! A whole section of the mountain suddenly decides to change places. Giant boulders roll down as if nature is playing dominoes, but on a huge scale. In mountainous regions like Nepal, Japan, or the Alps, this is a phenomenon that no one wants to encounter, because once it starts, nothing can stop it. China flood, 1931. One of the deadliest floods in history, the Yangtze and Yellow Rivers rose, submerging millions of homes and killing more than 4 million people. Oh my God, looking at the collapsed building is so scary. There must be panic inside. I hope no one is hurt. Frankfurt once had a giant called the AF Tower. From 1972 to 1974, it was the city's tallest building, but was then overtaken by larger towers like the DZ Bank and the Marriott Hotel. No one can keep the crown forever, not even a skyscraper. On February 2nd, 2014, the city decided to say goodbye to the AF Tower in the most spectacular way possible, a controlled explosion. Thousands of people came to watch, but everyone had to stay at least 250 meters away. Because demolishing a 381-foot building is no easy task, Over 2,000 pounds of explosives were used, ensuring that it would be gone in a flash. Love it or hate it, you have to admit. It's not every day you get to see a 381-foot structure collapse in seconds.
So, jetzt gibt's eine schöne Dusche.
Catastrophic floods, when water submerges everything. In just a few hours, a flood can turn your streets into Venice, but you don't have a boat. Tip: if you see fish swimming in front of your house, don't wait for a crocodile to appear. Find higher ground immediately. The water is flowing so strongly, the fences are like matchsticks. Pakistan floods 2010. Historic floods left 20% of the country underwater, affecting 20 million people. If you encounter this at night, you probably won't have time to react. Landslide. When the whole mountain falls down, a giant wall of rock and soil can slide down faster than you can meet your deadline. Tip: if you hear a rumbling sound that isn't coming from your hungry stomach, run as fast as you can and don't look back. Say hello and then goodbye to the Georgia Dome, a $214 million stadium completed in 1992. When it opened, it was one of the largest state-funded construction projects in Georgia history. Home to the Atlanta Falcons, it hosted epic concerts and thrilling basketball games. When it opened, it was the second largest covered stadium in the world, until AT&T Stadium in Texas came along and stole that title. It can't hold the crown forever, but the Georgia Dome is no pushover. It's hosted 2 Super Bowls, the 1996 Summer Olympics, and even WrestleMania 27. But as they say, all good things must come to an end. In 2017, the brand new Mercedes-Benz Stadium went up next door, and the city of Atlanta decided it didn't need 2 stadiums. On November 20th, 2017, the Georgia Dome was officially demolished. Locals climbed onto the roof, excited as if they were waiting for New Year's Eve fireworks. Below, some people were still driving on the nearby bridge, as if they had no idea that a giant stadium was about to evaporate right next to them. That's Atlanta driving stuff. It took 4,800 pounds of explosives to break up the Georgia Dome. But when the dust cleared, two large sections of the stadium were still standing. No problem. Heavy machinery was there to take care of it. Or at least that was the plan. It turned out that some of the explosives didn't detonate as expected, so they had to set off a second explosion. And this time, a window in the nearby convention center was blown out. But don't worry, it was replaced immediately, as if nothing had happened. Today, the area where the Georgia Dome once stood has become a green space, a perfect place for the Falcons to hold a barbecue. It's a fitting end to a stadium that has seen so many legendary moments. A whole mountain collapsed. There was no way to run. Warning: the power of nature. Nature is a force of nature that can destroy in the blink of an eye. Storms, floods, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and tsunamis are all examples of the power of nature. Always be alert, stay informed, and prepare a safety plan to protect yourself and your family from natural disasters. Dallas, a modern, vibrant city, both a commercial hub and a cultural melting pot. With a reasonable cost of living and many attractive attractions, it is no surprise that many Americans have flocked here. But the development has its price. Old buildings are being demolished to make way for new projects. On February 16, 2020, one of the demolitions did not go according to plan, or in fact, went quite badly. A large part of the building still stood, defying fate, leaving the demolition team with a headache as to what to do with it. Locals, with their usual sense of humor, immediately dubbed it the Leaning Tower of Dallas, for obvious reasons. However, the joy was short-lived. Just a few weeks later, the demolition company returned with giant cranes and finished off the rest of the building. It may not be an old landmark, but it will certainly be a memorable one for Dallasites. Tornado wind, the whirlwind of death. Tornado winds can blow away roofs, cars, and even you if you weigh less than 50 kilograms. Tip: if you see your neighbor's house suddenly fly up like in The Wizard of Oz, it's time to get into the basement or hold on to something, preferably indoors. We appreciate your support and will continue to bring you the most impressive footage of the power of nature. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss any moment.